What's going on, guys? Since coming back and playing a whole lot of Rocket League over the past few weeks, I've been reading over a lot of comments from my videos, social media posts, and going over my own notes, and have put together my top 10 tips to help you get better at Rocket League. I've done this a few times before, but this is going to be my ultimate improvement guide. Now, these tips can be applied at all levels, and if you're below Diamond, you're going to learn a lot from this. That being said, even those of you at the higher ranks will still be able to take a few things from the video that can help you improve your gameplay. Just a quick warning, this video might get in depth at times. I'll do my best to make sure you guys can follow along, but let's jump straight into number 1 because it's a massive one for those of you in the lower ranks. Tip 1. Power shots are everything. This might seem obvious to a lot of you until you put it into perspective. When you watch high level gameplay, you'll barely ever see them hit a shot or even pass the ball that's below 50k. At that level, if you don't hit the ball with power, it's not going in, simple as that. In the higher levels of Rocket League, players are so fast and so good with rotations that you need to be able to hit the ball with pinpoint accuracy and with as much power as you can. This is the number 1 tip I can give to players that are stuck below plat. Learn how to hit the ball with power every time. You'll be surprised how often you can catch your opponents out of position or just with no way of defending it, and at that level it doesn't even need to be in the top corners. You can honestly bang it straight down the middle sometimes and players won't have the time to react. At the higher levels, these power shots can be combined with passes upfield to give you offensive pressure in the air, or with powerful infield passes to catch the opponents off guard. If you are looking for a quick way to learn how to hit power shots, I have a short little video I made over a year ago that I'll link in the top right hand corner now. Tip 2 is one that I haven't really seen anywhere, but I am so passionate about. Tip 2 is you don't always need to flip reset. Now let me explain what I mean. Flip resets are one of the hardest mechanics to learn in Rocket League. People spend countless hours training and perfecting them. People also spend a lot of time going for them when they don't know how to do them properly, and sometimes they work, but the majority of the time, this happens. This is one of the most frustrating things for me, and I'm playing in a Champ 2 level. People who get the touch or come off the ceiling will almost always feel the need to go for the second touch or the flip reset just because they have it, when in fact it can put your team at such a big disadvantage. First off, you might not even be facing the right way to put any real pressure on the opponent by using it, which will mostly give the ball away and leave you stuck in the air for longer. And secondly, your teammate, who at the later ranks might be going up quickly to beat the other team to the ball, can be thrown off by the second touch as well and end up flying past it, leading to an open net. In the lower ranks this might not happen as much, but what I can say along the same lines as this tip is that when you find yourself flying through the air and still having a jump available, you want to prioritize getting to the ground as fast as you can. When I was in the lower ranks, I had the bad habit of using my second jump all the time just because it was there, and it almost always sent me spiraling towards the opposite side of the field. This really makes it harder for your teammates and is something that can be easily avoided just by focusing on recovering as quickly as you can instead of using that second jump just because it's there. Tip 3 links into that last tip, and it is to never leave your teammates in a 2v1 or 3v2. This should be pretty simple to understand, but it happens way too often across all ranks. Anytime you leave your teammates to defend without you, you are automatically putting them at a disadvantage, which can mean the difference between saving a shot or not, which can then mean the difference between winning a game or not. You don't need me to tell you that you need to help your team out and defend, but a way to help this out and identify when this alone is the reason you're getting scored on is just to save your replays when you lose the game. Save up 3 replays and watch them back to back. You'll see that even if you being way out of position doesn't directly lead to a goal, it can influence your late rotation, which can then throw your teammates off and lead to a goal down the track. Everything stems from the last play, so you want to do what you can to make sure the last play is the most beneficial one for your team. And if it wasn't a beneficial play for your team, you want to be in the right position to make sure the next one is. Tip 4 is never give your opponent time on the ball. Constant pressure is hard to deal with. It's even harder in the lower ranks when your first few touches don't have the level of control needed to properly deal with it. By always being ready to pressure your opponent, you can force them to make mistakes or just to take shots that are much easier to deal with than if they had a few seconds to set up or get closer. An easy way to think of it is to know that you have no idea what they can do. You don't know if they've spent 2,000 hours just playing ones and dribbling around you like it's nothing, or if they've devoted their lives to air dribbling and flip resets. At the end of the day, you don't want to find out, so stop them before they can set up. Pressure when they're trying to get the ball in their car to dribble, or pressure when they're trying to push it up the wall. If you can stop them doing something they have practiced for hours, then you're limiting their strengths. Don't give them the opportunity to show you what they can do. Instead, take the opportunity to put them on the back foot and force them to make an unfavorable play. Tip 5 is to play ones. I have definitely mentioned this tip in a few videos before, and that's because it is one of the quickest ways to improve. This is why. Playing ones forces you to figure out your own flaws and improve your ground play quickly. If you get scored on, it's your fault. Simple as that. You soon see where you should have been positioned, where you should have challenged, and where your recovery mechanics need some work. Many of the world's best players work their skills up from the ground in ones. While I know that people don't like ones because it's so frustrating, that sentence alone should be enough for you to play ones. If it's frustrating to you, then it means you must be making mistakes in game. And I know people are going to mention how annoying getting scored on from kickoffs is, but you can then use that to work to improve your kickoff. If ones frustrates you, good. It means you still have more to work on. If you want to seriously improve in Rocket League, you should be doing whatever you can to make your own skills and knowledge of the game better. An easy way to look at this is to think of it from a teammate's perspective. If you're playing twos and your teammate puts you in rough situations from poor challenges, or the kickoff is going badly every time, you'd start getting mad at them. So why would you be that teammate for others simply because you get mad that you lose ones matches? As soon as you can get over the fact that you might be losing games right now, but are setting yourself up to win games later on by improving fundamentals over time, then you'll see the benefits that ones can give to players looking to reach the higher ranks of any game mode. Tip 6 is for all levels and is to focus the fundamentals. The fundamentals being positioning, rotations, and speed. These 3 things are enough to get you to Grand Champ. That's it. That's all you really need to practice to get there. They are so important to climbing the ranks, and the fact that you can start learning these at any level gives you no excuses. You should always be working on these things. A few simple things I can say about each to help you get them are: positioning comes down to being far enough away from your team that you can cover them if they mess up, but close enough that you can follow up a pass or bounce off the wall. And you can apply this to offense and defense as your positioning directly links to your rotations. Now I understand rotations might be hard to fully comprehend in the lower ranks, so I'm going to try and break this down, but bear with me because this is going to be a lot to take in. However, this will help you to understand 3v3 rotations. Whenever you're defending, you should be rotating to the back post. This gives your teammate a clear path to challenge the attacker with confidence that you are behind them if something goes wrong. You should also always rotate away from the ball for the same reason. If the ball is going down the left side of the field and you're driving down the left side as well, your teammate now has to focus on getting a good hit on the ball while avoiding bumping into you or hitting the ball into you. It also means if the ball ends up down the field and does put your team in an offensive position from this play, that you are not ready to help out as you've driven directly behind your teammate and are no longer a passing option. If you instead rotate away from the ball into the midfield or towards the back post, you have created space between you and your teammates, and you've made yourself available for a pass, for a second challenge if the first one doesn't go well, or to be a backup defender until your teammate begins to rotate back post, which then gives you the all good to challenge. This is the basics of rotation. In an offensive rotation, you want to make sure one person is pressuring the ball, one player is towards the opposite side of the field in case of a pass or bounce off the wall, and one player is back around the halfway mark. This player is the last line of defense in case of a power clear or an unfavorable bounce. If the ball goes across the field, player on the opposite side will challenge. The player who passed the ball will rotate back into the last line of defense position, and the player originally on the halfway mark will take the passing player's position, which is now opposite to where the ball is currently, so they can challenge the ball with forward momentum. And so, this is the cycle of a standard 3v3 rotation. When it comes to 2v2 rotation, it's essentially the same. However, you should be more wary of committing to offense, seeing as you are both the receiver and the last man. If you're not sure that you can get to the ball first, or even if you can get to it that it would not put you in a favourable position, then you should hold back and wait for a better chance. This limits the chances of you getting scored on or leaving your teammates in that 1v2 situation we talked about earlier. The last of the fundamentals is speed. This is something that has to be built up with an understanding of car control. You should be learning the different recoveries like half flipping and wave dashing, both of which I have tutorials for and that I'll leave in the description, but will also link in the top right hand corner now. With speed comes boost control and proper movement around the map, which once again I have a video about. Honestly, check the description for an in-depth look at all these things, as they'll need proper explaining and a decent amount of practice. Tip 7 is a very short one that links to speed, and that is momentum. Momentum is everything, and once you've learnt your recoveries and the basics of boost management, then you can start looking to keep your momentum flowing throughout the match. You can easily train this in free play by turning off unlimited boost and making your way around the map. You should be trying to stay as fast as you can while challenging yourself to make recoveries off the wall and putting your car in rough situations. This will slowly build up over time, and you will see that you can basically win games just because you're playing faster than your opponent. Tip 8 is something I mentioned a little bit earlier on, which is committing for the ball. You should either be going in 100% or not at all. The second you start to hesitate, you have lost your momentum and have given the opponent an opportunity to put pressure on you. Oftentimes you'll find yourself, especially in the lower ranks, going up for the ball and completely missing it, being sent flying into the back end of the field, unable to help your team. Learning when to go for the ball and when you can get there first will help you determine when you should be going in and holding off. If you can't get there first, you shouldn't be going for it. It is much more beneficial for you to turn around and rotate back to net to help with the follow-up hit. An easy way to get into the habit of this is to honestly go into a game and only think about this one thing, or start speaking out loud and saying it to yourself when you should go or not. You should be aware of your teammate's position and how far away from the ball they are, and if you find yourself hesitating to say yes out loud, then the answer is no, you shouldn't be going for it. This alone will help you so much in the later ranks, as it happens far too often and can, once again, leave your teammates in that 1v2 or 2v3 situation that can lead to a loss. Tip 9 is to practice hard mechanics. Yes, I know this goes against what I mentioned earlier about practicing the fundamentals, but I also know a lot of you don't want to just work on the basics and will get distracted in your free play. I know because I do the exact same. And so, when you do want to try something new, try to practice hard mechanics. The more you push yourself to learn harder mechanics, the faster you will naturally learn to control your car and your all-around understanding. This will help with your movement, your speed, and your recoveries, as you'll end up working on them without thinking about it. And finally, linking in with that last tip and many of the others, tip 10 is to train in bursts. When you are jumping into free play or into custom training, or however you like to train, make sure you train in bursts and not massive 2 or 3 hour sessions. You should be aiming for around 30 minutes to an hour. This is because you will take more in and build up better muscle memory by training for short bursts in between rank sessions. Ideally, you'd want to warm up for about 45 minutes, then go into ranked for an hour or 2, then train for 30 minutes, then back into ranked for an hour or 2 and repeat the cycle. This will give you plenty of time to work on mechanics or fundamentals while also not wearing yourself out or getting fatigued and picking up bad habits. This is the routine I've been using for the past few weeks, and it has drastically improved my gameplay and my all-around control of my car. So, those are my top 10 best tips to help you improve, my Rocket League Ultimate Improvement Guide. I hope you guys took something away from this video, and if you did, please make sure to leave a like on the video, as they really do help the video and the channel. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with any of the tips you think not many people have covered yet. I apologize that some of these tips were a bit wordy, but I tried to explain them as best I could. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.